Well, this is an interesting turn of events. Wake up this morning around 2 o'clock in the morning, get myself a glass of water, and I look outside and it's snowing. You know, I left Illinois for this. I didn't think I'd ever really see snow again, but then there you go, covered in snow, the RTR. It's kind of cool, a little nostalgic. I'm ready for it to be gone now, but it is Texas, so it'll probably be gone by noon. Right, now it's recording.
All right.
Now we'll just start all over. It's cool. I love talking about my car, so who cares? Okay, so what we have here is the 2017 Mustang RTR Spec 2. This car, you go to the dealership, you tell them what car that you want, and they build it off of that. You can get it in an EcoBoost, or you can get it in a GT or a GT Performance Pack. With this, I went with just the basic GT Premium Pack, so you can get the rear diffuser on the back. Without the Premium Pack, you can't get the diffuser put back there unless you switch it to a premium bumper, because that's all one solid piece back there, like you see on the V6s if you don't have that. I chose to go with the Spec 2 just because we do a lot of track duty with our cars. Spec 1 is going to be appearance, which you can't really knock the appearance of this car because it looks pretty sick, I think. And then Spec 2, you're going to have your adjustable suspension and set up for the track. And then with your Spec 3, it comes with a supercharger that takes your car up to 670 horsepower. And I don't really go to the drag strip, so I didn't really feel that I needed that kind of power. And I think the power that comes out of this car is great, because with the Ford Performance Tune that they put on it, it takes it up to 460 from the original 430 that you get from the dealer. With this, you got your you got your front split here that they add to that. Looks really nice. Goes really well around this front. You get your lower and upper grills. With your upper grill, you have the lights up here, which it looks really nice driving during the day or driving during the night when those things are all lit up. And with the upper grill, you get the RTR badge in the grill. You can buy any of this stuff from AmericanMuscle.com, but if you don't get it straight from RTR, you're not going to get that badge that's there in the grill or on the sides. And then you have your RTR signature stripes here on the hood and the side. I like it because I went with this grabber blue because it was bright. You could see it coming. It's the part that stands out, and that's what I like. But this black kind of offsets it a little bit, breaks up the blue a little bit, allows your eye to follow around. It also gets these side splitters right here, which is kind of neat. I like that because it's not too much different, because this here is the original splitter and then they just add this. So it's a really nice look, and it's subtle, and it flows all the way to the back, and then it'll take you in to the rear diffuser, which I know a lot of guys and gals love this thing because it looks really, really aggressive from the back, channels the air up from underneath the car, and it goes really nice around the RTR Street Spec exhaust. You can get a competition exhaust, which is a little bit louder, but straight from RTR you get the axle backs on there that are the Street Spec. And then with my car, I went ahead and I did the H-pipe up front. I wanted just to sound a little bit better, because I know with the resonator that's on there, it can be a little bit quiet even in the GT cars. And then with the suspension, with this Spec 2, you get the adjustable suspension. So you get the shocks, and then you get the struts from RTR, as well as the adjustable sway bars. And you can set it up for oversteer, understeer, or neutral settings. Right now, I think it's set up for understeer, which I know they say it's because a lot of people can deal easier with understeer than they can oversteer. But when we go to the track, we kind of change that stuff up. And then you get your nice RTR embossed deck lid here, which looks a lot nicer when it's clean, but it's been kind of rainy and nasty and cold now in Texas, which I don't really understand. But a little bit ago, we had snow. The stripes carry back into this spoiler, which I like because it sits up nice. You can see it. It's got, again, like the rest of the car, kind of an aggressive look, but not overly large to where it's looking like you could maybe take off with the thing. So I like it. It flows with the stripes, and everything looks kind of cool. On the car too, it's also got some 20-inch wheels. They're 20 by 9.5. On the Spec 1, you get 19s, so on the Spec 2s and 3s, you get your 20s, and they're wrapped in Nitto tires, NT555 G2 tires. They're a summer tire. I like them. They're nice. They got pretty good grip. I like them over the factory Pirellis, because the Pirellis, I never seem to really get traction. On these, I'm starting not to get traction because I've been kind of burning them off a little bit, but what are you going to do? It's just the way it works. It's America. I have the stock brakes on here. I could have got the performance pack, which came with the Brembo brakes and then the upgraded sway bars, but I knew the sway bars were going to get replaced anyway, so I thought, why even bother with doing all that, and I can maybe go and get the Brembo brakes from somebody later. So I didn't really regret that. The only thing I kind of wish that I would have gotten with this car was the Recaros, because I had that in my white car, but my white car got slammed into a wall and got destroyed. But luckily, I ended up being able to get this one, so I can't say that it's all bad. It's got a nice sound to it. It's not too loud and annoying. You don't have a bad drone with it. It's nice. You don't have to worry about annoying the neighbors too much. Of course, it's going to do that if you start revving it up in the middle of your driveway in the middle of the day. But hey, it's kind of what you do. But the car handles great. I love it. I don't have any complaints. You know, I've got to meet Vaughn and talk to him and understand his vision of why they created RTR and meet the RTR team. And it's great. And anybody who has an RTR that I've talked to, which is a very limited crowd, is really, really awesome. And I see in a matter of time them being as big as Roush or being as big as Shelby when it comes to these cars, because these cars are absolutely sick. And seeing the 2018s, they're amazing, and the car just keeps getting better. There's only one other one, I think, here in Houston, and it's also Grabber Blue, but I think that's a 2012 or 2011, but it's pretty sweet. I love the car, and everybody loves it when they see it. The engine on this thing is it's pretty well stock outside of the tune, and then they put a filter on it. But I mean, if you compare it to the BMW engine, this thing is pretty freaking massive. It's the 5-liter V8, and as Ford says, this is the first true actual 5.0 that they've had. When you look at the numbers on the other one, I think it was like 4.45, where this one is a 4.9 or whatever, so it rounded up, it actually makes it a 5.0. I wanted to do headers or something else with this car, but I don't think I will, because it's a number car, it's number 5. I really don't want to do much to it outside of what's on here, because it's a pretty sweet car as it sits. You know, maybe get another set of wheels when we go racing and things like that, but other than that, I'm not going to do anything else to this car. So when we get the next one, I'm going to go all out with that. It'll have all the RTR appearance and performance, and then we'll jack up the engine and jack with the exhaust and do all that stuff to get more power out of it. But this one is my daily, and I just love driving away the way that it is. I like the new Ford vehicles because they got the push button start, and it's cool. It feels very race car-ish. I know that's like one of the first things that we did when we had the Drift Mustang, is I put this push button start in it. On the inside, they have RTR and Boss floor mats in here, but I don't put them in here because I don't want people getting them dirty. And then you got your RTR shifter, and that's really all you see RTR on the inside. But the car is pretty neat, and all the Mustangs that you have, they have different things on them you can register your quarter-mile speeds, your 60-foot, your 100-foot. You also have your line lock, so you can do a 15-second burnout in these things. So I think that's pretty sick, and I haven't used it yet because my car's still under warranty, so I don't really want to wreck anything that's under warranty. So you know, Ford, this is on video, I have not used it. But it's neat, and I get gauges up front that'll tell me my tire pressure and all that stuff, so that's kind of cool. And to be able to take this car and put it on the track and know that you have everything that you could ever want to try and see all of this, it's pretty neat. You got all that, which most people will get gauges. I know when we first started building cars, we would have a whole dash full of gauges just to monitor everything that this car does on its own at the push of a button, which is pretty sweet. And as you saw up front, you get your number plate autographed by Von Gittin Jr. This one here was number 5. It was the first one released to the public for retail sale. I know someone out in North Carolina, Brooks Church. So Brooks, if you're watching, what's up, dude? He's got number 10, and it's also Grabber Blue. So I thought that was kind of cool. That number 5 and number 10 are both the same color, which is, to me, I think one of the best looking colors on this car. But the car handles great. I think that when I originally had it, it handled great because the drift cars, which is an S197, is still the solid rear axle, and those cars have so much body roll when you're driving those things. And any suspension work that you do initially to start drifting with that thing or really start racing is to get rid of that body roll. So with this, you don't have to do it. You can handle corners. We took this to the autocross and it just sliced through them like a hot knife through butter. So I really liked all of that stuff. So independent suspension was definitely the way to go. You know, the Camaro guys were saying for a long time that they had always had it and they didn't know why we were so old. But, you know, everything has its time and its place. Got an old Mustang right there. Not old, but older. I think the thing's got, it launches really good. You can feel the power in it. And the thing too is, I know the S197 that I have back in the garage, that's our drift car, straight from the factory had 300. And that was a cool thing when that had 300. And now the new ones have 460. So to see how far it's kind of come in such a short time from 07 to 2017, it is kind of cool for the Mustangs. And now to think that 400 is the new normal for any type of car is kind of crazy. But you can take this thing to the drift track and you can just drift it straight as is, which is one of the reasons why I'm looking for another one for us to do like a street league car with, because I just think it'd be a lot of fun to continue on with the RTR.
You just put your turn signal on.
I know I did, and I know it's a habit. I don't care if we're in a parking lot. I have a turn signal. I'm going to use it. The problem is you stop using your turn signal and then you end up like every other Texan who doesn't use it, and then they merge lanes, cut you off, they get mad, and then they flip you off, and then everybody gets mad and 3 people get shot. It's just the way that it is, as opposed to when we lived in Chicago where 17 people would get shot just for saying hello at a Starbucks. But you know, it is what it is. Murder capital of the world. #1, baby. I like the car too because everybody can see the car coming. So like you have the lights up front, you have the bright blue. The only problem is cops can also see this car coming. So I always try to do the speed limit, or like 5 miles an hour over now, which it takes a little bit of the fun out of the car. But at the same time, the last time I put a car into the wall, but it wasn't entirely my fault. I was cut off. So it is what it is. But I think that this car is going to do really good when we get to drift it. The stock e-brake, I think, is better than it was in the S197 because that cable e-brake sucked. So we switched over to an ASD handbrake in that thing. But this one isn't too bad. I've done a couple of e-brake pulls and it turns pretty good in the rain. So, and the thing's got just great power. I mean, if you can drift a car that's got under 200 horsepower, or if I can successfully drift the other drift Mustang, which has 300 or 310 after all the modifications to it, easily you can drift anything with 460. So it's going to be a fun car. I know it was at the autocross tracks. Autocrap, yeah, there you go. That's one way to put it, I guess. I'd love to get it on a road course and really see how she'd rip. I know that Brooks has taken his, and he uses his as a regular race car, and that he has fun with that thing, and it's his daily too, I think. So it's a great car. I have absolutely no complaints about my Mustang. It's definitely better than the BMW. Not that I'm biased or anything, but America. That's our national anthem. Next time you got to stand up and take off your hat, sir.